There's a reason why more and more people are traveling to Georgia in 2025. And no, not the US state. We're talking about the small country tucked between Europe and Asia. A place that's quickly becoming one of the most exciting destinations in the world. It's not just about beautiful views or cheap prices. Georgia offers something deeper, a mix of history, culture, food, and natural beauty that you don't find everywhere. Most trips start in Tbilisi, the capital. Right away, it feels different from other cities. You see old houses with leaning balconies next to bold modern buildings. There's street art on the walls, cafes tucked into corners, and a kind of calm chaos that makes you want to explore more. The city feels real and warm. It's not perfect, and that's part of its charm. You'll find hidden courtyards, tiny bakeries, and winding streets that don't always make sense. And in the middle of it all are the famous sulfur baths, where people still come to soak just like they have for centuries. The cost of living here is low compared to Western Europe. You can get a full dinner for the price of a coffee in Paris. A nice hotel doesn't break the bank, and you can enjoy a high-quality trip without spending a ton of money. Just a few hours north of Tbilisi is Kazbegi. It's one of the most iconic places in the country, thanks to the view of Gergeti Trinity Church set against the massive Mount Kazbek. Getting there is an adventure on its own. The Georgian military highway cuts through the mountains, passing ancient towers, dramatic valleys, and villages along the way. When you finally arrive and stand looking up at the mountains, the view is nothing short of breathtaking. For history lovers, there's Uplistsikhe, a cave city carved into cliffs thousands of years ago. You can walk through tunnels, explore old homes, and imagine what life was like when this place was alive with people, trade, and religion. And Uplistsikhe is just one of many historic sites. Georgia is packed with monasteries, churches, and ruins, some standing high in the hills, others hidden deep in forests. Many of them are still in use today. On the western edge of the country is Batumi, Georgia's seaside city on the Black Sea. It's totally different from Tbilisi. The air is more humid, palm trees line the streets, and the architecture is modern and bold, almost futuristic in some areas. People come here to relax, swim, and enjoy the sea breeze. There's a long boulevard for walking and biking, and the atmosphere is more resort-like, but still full of Georgian character. If you head up into the northwest mountains, you'll find Svaneti. It's a rugged region filled with stone towers, medieval villages, and some of the most stunning views anywhere in the country. The town of Mestia is the main hub, and from there you can hike or drive to places that feel like they haven't changed in centuries. This is one of Georgia's wildest and most authentic regions, and it's perfect for anyone who wants a deeper, more remote travel experience. If you're visiting in winter, Gudauri is Georgia's main ski resort, and it's just a few hours from Tbilisi. Lift tickets, rentals, and even lessons are way cheaper than in the Alps, but the snow and the views are top-notch. For more adventurous travelers, there are options for backcountry skiing and heli-skiing too. Beyond the cities and the main tourist spots, Georgia is full of natural beauty. There are waterfalls, lakes, canyons, forests, and open fields everywhere. You can hike in national parks, go paragliding in the mountains, ride horses in the highlands, or raft down rivers. And often, you'll have these places almost to yourself. Even the more popular hiking areas like Mestia to Ushgali aren't packed with crowds, especially if you go outside peak months. One of the things visitors remember most about Georgia isn't a place, it's the people. Georgian hospitality is on another level. If you look lost, someone might walk you to your destination. If you compliment a meal, you might get invited into the kitchen. If you show interest in the culture, someone will sit with you and tell stories for hours. It doesn't feel forced or like a tourist act. It feels real, and it makes a huge impression. Georgian food is one of the top reasons people fall in love with this country. It's comforting, full of flavor, and totally unique. Khinkali are giant soup dumplings filled with meat and spices. You grab them by the top, take a bite, and slurp the broth before eating the rest. Then there's khachapuri, warm bread filled with gooey melted cheese, sometimes topped with a runny egg and butter. You'll also find grilled meats, fresh salads, stews, and tons of regional dishes depending on where you go. Meals are meant to be shared, and you'll never leave the table hungry. Another big reason Georgia is booming in 2025 is how affordable it still is. You can travel for weeks here on the same budget it takes for just a few days in Western Europe. Accommodations are good value, food is cheap, and attractions are often free or very low cost. Even things like guided hikes, wine tastings, and transport cost far less than you'd expect. You get so much for your money without ever feeling like you're cutting corners. One of the things that surprises people the most is the visa policy. Citizens from many countries can stay in Georgia for up to 1 full year without a visa. That's not a typo, an entire year. This has made Georgia a huge draw for digital nomads, long-term travelers, and remote workers who want a home base with low costs and a high quality of life. Georgia is also one of the safer countries in the region. The crime rate is low, especially for tourists, and locals are generally friendly and eager to help. You'll see kids walking home alone, people leaving bags unattended, and a general sense of trust. That said, like anywhere, it's good to stay aware, but overall, most visitors say they feel relaxed and welcome while traveling here. Traveling in Georgia is usually smooth, but here are a few tips. First, don't rely too heavily on public transport in remote areas. Minibuses are great between major towns, but for the mountains or villages, consider renting a car or hiring a driver. Second, carry some cash. While cards work in cities, small places often don't accept them. Third, learn a few local words, even just hello and thank you. It goes a long way, and locals really appreciate the effort. So why is everyone traveling to Georgia in 2025? It's not just one thing, it's everything. The history, the mountains, the food, the people, that feeling of discovering something real. Georgia gives you stories, memories, and moments that stay with you long after the trip ends. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more travel content, and we will see you in the next one.